Hey gang, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am. So what do we have on the menu for today's video? And I mean, how cool is it that I'm actually filming outside for a change? We're going to talk about connectivity and being in beautiful remote places, and what do you really need, and does it matter if you're traveling in the east or the west? Do you really need Starlink? All those things. But before we get to that, I want to thank you so much for being here. Special thanks to my channel members, and I'm going to name my 4 channel members, Barb and Lisa, who have been with me almost since the launch of channel memberships, and Chris and Judy, who have both joined recently. So thanks to all of you. And if you'd like to consider becoming a channel member, go ahead and click the link over here, maybe? I can't remember which side. It's here someplace on the screen. Or, scan the QR code, click the link in the description below. Whatever, do the stuff. All right, again, thank you so much. And without further ado, let's roll the intro and get right into this.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Just look at this view. Just look at it. Pretty amazing, huh? And this is my campsite. How cool is this? I'm in an actual campground. This is Cathedral Gorge State Park in Nevada, near Panaca. And this is an overflow site. It's the one on the end. So, and I don't have a neighbor in between the two of us. So pretty cool. I mean, it's like, wow, awesome. I'm really liking it. All right, you can't quite see my computer, now you can, but I got a bunch of notes here, and so that means I've got glasses on, because otherwise I can't read them. I can't make the print quite that big. One of the biggest questions I get asked often is, how do you stay connected on the road? And, if you're working remotely, or if you're trying to upload videos, or if you're just trying to avoid all the buffering while you're watching your favorite TV shows, we're going to cover what works, what doesn't, and how to keep your digital life humming along across the US. So I guess the first thing you need to know is that all cell networks are not created equal. And the best setup really kind of depends on where you travel. Are you on the East Coast? You've got tower coverage galore because there's a lot more people there. If you're in the West, it's a little spottier, and it's definitely more dependent on line of sight and elevation because there's so much that changes. That's why the smartest strategy in one word is redundancy. And I think if we're going to be looking at the sun, I'm going to have to break down and go back inside, which is such a shame. Can I turn in a different direction? Let me try that. All right, let's try it from this side. Now you get to see Henry behind me. But that's okay. The beautiful skies, the fluffy clouds, it's all pretty awesome. So how many cell services do you really need, or services, period? And I mean, I really think you need at least 2. And that's been my experience. And especially in the case where one is really strong in the east and the other dominates out west. And for me, as that's turned out, Verizon cell towers in the west, and I'm not using Verizon anymore, we'll get to that eventually, and T-Mobile to be able to make sure I've got coverage in the east. T-Mobile was absolutely stellar all the time I was traveling in the east all last year. I never had any issues with it at all. Verizon was occasionally spotty, but not very often. In the west, where I am right now, I'm in Nevada, and actually in this particular location, everything's a little spotty, but could be much worse. I mean, the views are just amazing. So in this case, T-Mobile keeps rolling in and out, and Starlink keeps rolling, Starlink, and the Verizon signals keep rolling in and out. Right now, I'm on Verizon, and I'm using that, or the Verizon cell, and I'm using that for everything, but as I said, I'm not using a Verizon plan anymore. But if you're ultra remote, or you want true independence and you don't mind having to deploy and all of that stuff, or you're willing to pay the price to mount on the roof, a third option, like Starlink, might be worth considering as having a plan C. I'm not there yet. I've been able to avoid it so far, and I'm hoping I'm going to continue to be able to avoid it. That's my plan. We'll see how it works out. So here's what I do. Here's why I chose it. And here's how it's working out for me so far. So, and I left my phone inside. But I have an iPhone. I'm an Apple person, not an Android person. And I'm using an iPhone 14 Pro, which I've had for almost 3 years now, so I'll probably be upgrading toward the end of this year. But I recently made a really big switch. When I hit the road in 2021, I knew I needed better connectivity than I had had previously in my sticks and bricks, and just for casual traveling. So I switched from AT&T, which had really spotty coverage everywhere, to a Verizon Business plan. And what that gave me, cost me $92 a month, and what it gave me was unlimited talk, text, and data on the phone, everywhere in the US, plus Canada and Mexico. It also gave me 200 gigabytes of hotspot, which I looked at as being, enough if I was being relatively conservative. When I started uploading videos on a regular basis and I'm streaming, I'm watching TV basically every night, I can run through 200 gig relatively quickly. And then, back in May of 2023, I got the T-Mobile business internet. Not the, and I've talked about this before, not the home plan that they were selling at all the RV shows. I got an actual T-Mobile business internet, and presumably, I'm never going to have an issue with that because they designed the plan for businesses like food trucks that move around so that they'd be able to have mobile internet service so they can take credit cards and, all that kind of stuff. And I still have the T-Mobile, and I'm still very happy with it overall. But I no longer have the Verizon Business plan. Back in January, I met a couple at an Army Corps of Engineers camp on the border between Florida and Georgia, depended on where you were in the camp as to which state you were in. It was pretty interesting. And they introduced me to Visible. Visible, basically, is Verizon's cheap plan. And it has 2 levels of service. It has Visible, and it has Visible Plus. I have the Visible Plus service. And I've been using it since January. I did a free trial for 2 weeks, and I kept flipping back and forth during that trial period, which was on the basic Visible plan, not on the Visible Plus plan. And during that whole time, I was getting similar speeds to my Verizon Business plan. On the Visible Plus plan, if networks become congested, my plan does not throttle my service. The basic Visible plan, I believe, will throttle. You will lose some bandwidth as service becomes congested, but because I'm on the Visible Plus plan, I don't have to worry about that. So here's the thing. I did the trial for almost 2 weeks, and then when I canceled the trial plan and bought the Visible Plus plan, I immediately noticed an increase in speeds. And in fact, I had, just before I made the switch, I mean literally within minutes before I finished making the switch, I did a speed test on my Verizon plan, and then I did a speed test on Visible as soon as I got it up and active on the Visible Plus plan, and it was about 1.3 times faster in that particular location. And in general, overall, since I've had this plan in January, I've seen high connectivity speeds overall, better than I was seeing with the business plan, which kind of ticks me off a little bit. Because remember I said I was paying $92 for that business plan? Well, right now, because when I got it in January, I got a deal with Visible where I'm paying $30 a month for 25 months, and that includes taxes and everything. And then at the end of 25 months, if I keep on the monthly plan, it'll go up to $45 a month, which is still, $30 a month is less than a third of what I was paying previously. $45 a month is still less than half of what I was paying previously, but they also allow you to make an annual payment. And if I do it annually, then instead of $45, it goes down to $33. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've been really, really happy with Visible. And I was actually, part of this the switchover I thought was going to be difficult, and it was, not because of Visible. Visible was very easy to make the switch. Verizon was a pain because it was a business plan. First they transferred me to they said they had to turn it into a consumer plan before they could give me a code to be able to port my number, because I didn't want to get a whole new phone number. But I've been very, very happy with Visible. They do auto pay, you know, so it's just set up on auto pay, and it comes, I do it through PayPal because that was the easiest way to do it. And I use my credit card that gives me an additional 2% off on everything. So, you know, saving another 2% in addition to only paying $30 a month. And one of the things that I really love is, we didn't talk about hotspot on Visible. It's unlimited hotspot. So in these sketchy areas that I've been in lately in the West, where T-Mobile has not been giving me enough to be able to stream reliably or to upload videos effectively, and I've had a good Verizon signal, I've just been doing it all from the hotspot. So there have been times when I've had my TV running, I've got my computer hooked up, my phone, you know, in one hand, and it's all running off the hotspot for Visible, and it all works flawlessly. So I've been very, very happy about that. And if you're interested in looking at Visible, you can get a free trial. And if you use my link, which will be in the video description down below, then you also get, I think, $20 off of your first bill. And in full disclosure, I get some kind of credit on my bill as well, but, you know, I'm doing this really so that you can get that extra, and I'll put it in there so you can get that extra credit for yourself. So why do I use two services? Because redundancy is everything when you live and work on the road. One tower goes down or a canyon blocks the signal, boom, I got a plan B. I usually have both of them running at the same time, but not always. And in fact, sometimes, if I'm, you know, if it's like cloudy days and I don't have full sun, you know, full solar and battery available, I may turn off the T-Mobile router because that runs on an AC outlet, just a regular plug-in, and just run off of my Visible hotspot instead, because I'm saving the 40-ish watts that would be using on power. So you might be wondering, do I use a cell booster? I used to. I had a WeBoost Drive Reach, and that helped in some fringe areas. But here's the thing about cell boosters that I never really understood. They will help boost your cell signal, you know, the number of bars that you have. But that doesn't really, they're not designed to affect your data usage. And what's most important to me is data. I mean, typically I find I can make a phone call on, you know, 1 to 2 bars. And, you know, it may not be awesome, but I can get it done. The bigger deal for me is data. And so I ultimately decided just to give up on the cell booster. I don't have one. I don't camp in places where I don't have enough signal to be able to make a phone call. I just don't. But if you're willing to do that, then a cell booster might be a way to go for you. The thing that I think is more important, and it's what I'm working on changing now, I'm looking into, is getting a better MIMO antenna for my T-Mobile router. So MIMO antennas help to pull in better speeds at a more stable connection for data. And that's what I care about the most. Boosters are great for voice and maybe light browsing, but MIMO is built for streaming and uploading, zooming, all the good stuff, right? So that's kind of where I am with that. So what else do we want to say about connectivity? Well, what about Starlink? The issue for me with Starlink, I have a rule. So first of all, you're seeing my camp, right? Do you see a bunch of stuff sitting around? No. I never have anything outside, especially when I'm only camped for a few days, and especially when I'm by myself. I never have anything outside that I'd be willing to drive away from. That I would be unwilling to drive away from. And Starlink is expensive. I wouldn't be willing to drive away from that. I have been looking into Starlink Mini lately. And with Starlink Mini, I think I'd be able to just put it on the dashboard inside and not have to put it outside, not have to run a cable. Might have to adjust my position at certain, you know, campsites and whatever. You know, a lot of people love the 75-foot cable because they want to park under the trees. I don't want to park under the trees. I want full sun so I can get full solar. That's the way I roll. But, you know, everybody does it differently. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of up to you as to whether or not you're going to be willing to deal with Starlink. So let's just sum it all up. For me right now, Visible Plus, using the Verizon cell towers, and oh, by the way, I don't remember if I said this, Visible is a Verizon company. It's Verizon's cheap plan. So it's not a reseller. It's actually Verizon, all Verizon. It's not, and there are lots of reseller plans, and there are lots of resellers around that buy blocks of data from other primary carriers, T-Mobile, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. They buy those blocks of data, and then they will resell it and brand it as their own, basically. So it's not a reseller. It's actually Verizon. So that's my number one. It's my primary for my phone, and it's my primary hotspot. T-Mobile Business Internet is a fast backup for streaming or uploads when available. And I'm sticking with no booster at this point. I'm considering a MIMO antenna for my T-Mobile router. I'm also considering, I don't know if you can see it up there, but there's a satellite dish antenna on my roof. And I want to look at possibly an omnidirectional antenna that I could mount there to replace the dish antenna, because I'm never going to have dish satellite. And I'm considering Starlink Mini as my plan C if I ever decide that I'm willing to deal with all of the stuff that goes with that. So that's what we got. So if you're curious about Visible Plus and you want to check it out for yourself, I got the referral link in the video description. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you do for connectivity on the road? Are you happy with it? Do you feel like you have enough? And as always, leave me a comment down below. Give us a big thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.